Hello, my love muffins. How y'all doing? Hey, shorty. I've missed you all. I have missed you all. I used to be racist. Am I the asshole for refusing as a prerequisite to be in my estranged mixed families' lives? I mean, why are you refusing therapy? You used to be racist. Why are you refusing to go? I feel like if I proclaimed to be a recovered racist and people wanted me to go to therapy because they have a blended family, a mixed race family, and they want to make sure that there is complete understanding and on all sides, I don't see why I would deny wanting to do that unless I'm racist. But we'll find out. We will find out. My older sister and I were raised by an extremely racist and violent single father in a very small town. This is Lily, a very small M. Lily White town after our mom died. I could name a plethora of crazy, untrue things that I was taught by him, but that isn't really necessary for this story. Long story short, from a young age, I inherited all of my dad's bad attributes, but my sister was always a sensitive, kind kid. Whereas she was into animals and was very interested in stories and folklore, places, as well as people. Everyone said she got it from our mom, though she was really my dad's pride and joy. Her interest in people and things outside of our tiny world of drunken fighting and small town drama was the beginning of her conflict with our dad. Yeah, how have you guys been? Talk to me. I've got some stories for you guys, but also I just want to talk to you guys. By the time my sister won a scholarship to college, she was constantly at odds with my father. She couldn't wait to leave home. She did well in school, studied abroad, and made new friends with people who grew up hating. Oh, with people we grew up hating. I was going to say, that don't make no sense. She made friends with people that we grew up hating. She became different. Before college, she was the typical girl next door, popular with the guys for her looks and beloved by mostly everyone in our town because of her kind demeanor. Typical small town nice girl. Then the rumors started about her getting brainwashed in college, and even her name basically became a bad word. I hate to admit it, but I started to believe those things because even our dad said them. What? That's terrible. Ironically, she eventually began dating this black guy, which was the biggest sin possible to a lot of people in our town, including me. I didn't understand it. Our dad was furious for a long time, but eventually it looked like he was coming around because he invited them to the house. I'm sorry, I had to read ahead just in case it was some shit that I didn't want to say on TikTok. I'm sorry, y'all. He invited them to the house one afternoon. He started drinking in the driveway that morning, and by the time they got there, he was hammered. They stepped out of the car to a barrage of slurs, which instantly broke my sister into tears. He started throwing cold beer cans at them, and I joined in. Both of them were bleeding, and we dented up the car pretty good. They sped away, but until that moment, I'd never seen my sister cry like that. I was 13 then. My dad yelled that she was dead to him. I wouldn't see my sister for nearly 15 years. I didn't even know her boyfriend's name. That's crazy. That's fucking terrible. That is terrible. Our dad died a few years ago, and the staggering lack of people who came to his funeral was a big wake up call to me. That's one of my biggest fears, that when I die, no one's going to show up to my funeral. Like, that is one of my biggest fears. The staggering lack of people who came to his funeral was a big wake up call to me about the need to have loving people in your life. After that, I moved to a bigger city for work. I gradually made friends and began having experiences I never would have had in my old town. I'm now very different from the rage-filled kid that I used to be. Truth is, before Dad died, we started to clash. I drank and I partied. Ooh, including drugs. So I did it so hard that I went to jail a few times. Partying was my escape. I partied a while after I moved out, But the sheer gift of time and living life led me to eventually realize many of the things I taught were wrong. And if I didn't change, I was going to end up in jail or worse. You're right, because this new age of black and brown people, they don't accept, you just yelling out slurs and throwing shit. Cause sir, now 2024, bro, you'd wake up with your house on fire. Like you gonna think you in hell. Like you gonna think you in hell. Well, yeah, these young kids, they don't take that shit. They do not take that shit laying down. I just started feeling like there had to be more to life than being mad at the world and drunk all the time. I joined a few volunteer groups, and the people I met helped me get sober and really made a big impact on changing my trajectory. My views on race changed dramatically, and I've managed to build a solid but diverse group of friends. Despite that, the weight of having no family also has set in. I miss my sister so much, but I was too ashamed to reach out. I found her on Facebook and watched her life from afar. She actually married that guy we threw beer at. They have 3 kids and they live a few states away. They seem really happy in their pictures. I eventually reached out and we developed communication online. A few weeks in, I made the drive out of state. I made the drive out of state and I met her and her husband over dinner. We had some very tough emotional talk, but overall, it was a very constructive visit. I told them I wanted to be in their lives and even be an uncle to their kids. My sister then told me that I should hold off on all of that for the moment. Given our upbringing and my history, she recommended that I go to therapy or counseling before being introduced to her kids. She said they worked hard to make sure their kids weren't exposed to the kind of adults that we grew up with. I don't know why, but I took offense because she doesn't know what I've been through since my father died. I'm not that same hateful preteen. She doesn't know how hard I initially had to work, and still am working to better myself. I'm not opposed to therapy, but to make it a requirement before even meeting her children seems excessive. Then you don't want to be a part of their lives. You don't want to be their uncle. Because if I've claimed to have seen the error of my ways, and I have been and am still working to be a better person, and someone comes to me and says, I think you should take therapy before I allow you to see my children, I'm going to 100% do that. Especially if these are my nieces and nephews that I am determined to be a part of their life. I feel like that is a very simple thing. And if you're not against it, what is the problem? Is it control? You feel like she's telling you you have to do this so you don't want to do it? That's fucking ridiculous. It is a damn sorry reason or a terrible hill to fucking die on. I'm not opposed to therapy, but you making it's something I have to do in order to see your kids just feels like it's wrong. So don't tell me to do it. Let me think it's my idea to do it. Then are you really willing to be a part of their lives? Because if you say you're willing, that means you're going to do all things necessary, everything their parents deem necessary. You literally fucking threw beer cans at their father. I'm sorry that after 15 years, I don't trust you. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Forgive me for not wanting to toss my children into their uncle's arms after he yelled angry racial slurs and threw beer at their mother and their father 15 years ago. I'm sorry for not immediately trusting someone who is essentially a stranger to me. I told my sister I would think about it, but I don't think I hid my disappointment too well. I'm pretty sure she sensed the change in our vibe because the rest of the dinner was a bit awkward. I haven't heard from her since. Am I the asshole for not wanting to go to therapy just because she thinks I should? I mean, I'm literally considering moving several states away to be near them. Shouldn't that be enough for a start? No, they don't trust you. The last time they seen you, you did some of the most horrible, vile things that you could do at 13 years old. They don't trust you. They don't know you. They don't know you. It's been 15 years since these people have seen any part of you. And you're expecting them to just believe the words that are coming out of your mouth? Okay. So they don't trust you. You've done nothing to earn it. You've done nothing to earn their trust. Why would they just listen to what the fuck you say? Update. Thanks to everyone who reached out and offered kind and not so kind words. The feedback really did help open my eyes. I didn't expect it to blow up like it did. None of you guys ever do. Unfortunately, I went to work after posting and I didn't look at it until the end of the day. By then, the post was locked and I wasn't able to respond. Short version, my sister and I spoke on the phone and had a very long, hard conversation. She's decided to not continue to contact with me at this time. My reaction to request that I attend therapy reopened some deep wounds. She held out the possibility that maybe we can try again later down the road after she's had time to really sit with everything. There's no timeline. It stings, but I'm going to try to find a balance between being hopeful and the reality that I may never hear from her. Long version, I spoke with her on the phone after our dinner. She said she became physically sick after our meeting, particularly after I was hesitant on the therapy. She doesn't trust me. Show of hands, who's fucking surprised? Don't worry, I'll wait. I don't think so. Are you kidding me? I know that I blew my chance. Her tone was completely different. I could tell she had a lot of simmering anger in her voice as she spoke. She talked about a few really tough personal things I didn't know she went through with our dad, and how she struggled to find herself and her new extended family because of it. I had no idea that those things happened because you're selfish. You're selfish. You did some of the worst shit to your sister and her husband, and all you could say is, doesn't it count the things that I've gone through? You're selfish. This is not about you. You getting better with whatever the fuck you were going through when you were younger has nothing to do with any of this shit. It's not about you. It's about your sister. We not focusing about what the fuck you've done. You are reaching out to your sister. That means you are ready and willing to do any and everything to prove to her that you are better. Not that you want to give her words and she should take into consideration that I had to struggle. Bro, you chose to be racist. It wasn't until after your father died. You were well into adulthood. It wasn't until after your father died. You were in adulthood. So at some point, you knew this shit wasn't fucking right. I don't care about where you were living. I don't care about how you were raised. Once you reached adulthood and you were able to think for yourself, you knew this shit was wrong. You started clashing with your father. You knew this shit was fucking wrong. Yet you don't want to acknowledge it when you reach out to the person that you harmed. You want her to take into consideration that up until adulthood, I knew the shit was wrong and I chose to continue doing it. But once I seen that my dad died and nobody gave a fuck about him, I decided I wanted to change things. Sir. Okay. I didn't know that she went through all of these things. I was so wrapped up in my own bullshit, I felt like shit that I never considered how many ways she was affected by being disowned until many of you brought it to my attention here on Reddit. I'll share this little tidbit about her health, that her health was affected because she's told me that she's opened about it. She was constantly stressed out by our dad's violent behavior growing up. I thought it was normal for adult men to fight their friends over disagreements. There was a night our dad got into a fist fight with his friend while we were watching TV in our house. My dad got knocked out. His friend thought he killed him and threatened my sister with a pistol, not to tell a soul that he was even there. That is freaking crazy. My sister panicked all night about us being orphans but was too scared to go and get help. My dad finally woke up the next day, but that was the beginning of her anxiety. After the beer can incident, she battled migraines, insomnia, nervous bowels, depression, a tight chest, and other things, all the way into her marriage, and she still has physical scars from the day she was pelted. I said all of that to say this. All of those synonyms came back after our dinner. I'm so heartbroken that she went through these things. I'm heartbroken that I played such a big role in her pain. I hate that our reunion made her revisit that place. I wish that I could take it back. I wish I'd been a better brother to her. She didn't deserve any of that. I wish that I really could take it back. I told her I was going to seek therapy, but she was still angry. Her tone then became cold. She said after she was disowned, she went through high school with no family. She had no family at her graduation, no family at her wedding. She said she reached out to us for years, but we never responded. Dad even turned her away when she tried to come and visit. I had no idea about any of it. There was just a lot of hurt and pain, and I hadn't grasped the scope of it, and I'm still trying to grasp it. I now know how low I've felt since our dad died, feeling like I have nobody, but she's felt that way long before I did. And it was probably worse because we were still alive. I told her I loved her, but she didn't say it back. She then told me she wanted to cut contact with me, but ironically, her husband lost a brother. He encouraged her to not close me out just yet. He made it clear that I'm not going to be physically near their family right now. She agreed to not cut contact, but says she needs a few months minimum to process everything. I promise that during that time, I will be killing it in therapy and really digging deep, not just for her, but for myself. She hung up without saying goodbye. I'm not sure what to make of that, but I signed up immediately after our call. I really hope she reaches out when she's ready. I like that once again, bro has had a realization, and I hope that he stays true to it. And I hope his sister gets the help that she needs as well, because it's terrible. Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my girlfriend's plane ticket after she decided to stay longer on her trip without me? You said, bitch, you gonna stay without me? I'm gonna leave you stranded? You can't extend your trip if you can't afford to pay for the extended trip ticket. So no, I don't think you are, but we're gonna read and find out. We're gonna read and find out. So here's the deal. My 28 male, girlfriend 27 of 2 years, and I planned a 2-week vacation to Italy. I paid for the flights, hotels, everything, because I make more than she does, and I wanted it to be a stress-free trip for the both of us. Everything was going great until the last day. She tells me she wants to stay longer to find herself, aka cheat. You need Italy to find yourself? See, the thing about going abroad and staying alone is that you can cheat all you want, right? And then when you go home, you don't have to worry about accidentally bumping into them or somebody reaching out to your boyfriend as a man. Because 9 times out of 10, they don't speak the same language. Oh, ma'am. I mean, if you're going to do it, that's the way to do it. But girl, she wants longer to find herself and think about our relationship without me. She didn't discuss this with me beforehand, completely blindsided me. I was hurt, and I told her if she feels she needs the time alone, she should also be independent financially during this excursion of her trip. Yeah, right? You want to stay here and find yourself and think about a relationship without me, but you want me to pay for the extended finding of yourself? No. I said that I would be paying for her new return ticket whenever she decides to come back. Now she's upset, calling me unsupportive and selfish. Selfish? Okay. And our friends are saying that I am being an asshole because I left her stranded in a foreign country without financial help. Is that not what she asked for? So Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to pay her new plane ticket home after she chose to extend her trip without any heads up? Absolutely not. Your friends fucking suck. Well, those of your friends that agree with her, because ain't no way in hell. I know I'm not paying for some shit. I know I'm not paying for some shit. And I'm going to say I want to stay here longer than the 2 weeks that you have already paid full out. I didn't pay for any of the 2-week trip. None of it. So now I'm expecting you to pay for another, 2 weeks just so I could stay here and find myself? Okay, well, I feel like the friends that are saying that she's stranded need to get on the wire and send her some money. I didn't leave her stranded. I told her I wasn't going to be paying for her return ticket. So while she finding herself, she better find a way to make some money. That way she can pay to get home. Because why the hell? I'm not staying. No. Sorry, this woman's going to cheat on you. Oh, yeah, no. She'd come back home to the States and wouldn't even have to worry about breaking up with nobody. Because, ma'am, you better hope we don't live together. You better hope we don't live together. Because, ma'am, yeah, some of you bitches be doing the most. The absolute freaking most. Am I the asshole for asking for the bikini photos of my wife to be taken down? My wife, 26 female, and I, 29 male, traveled to my parents' lake house 2 weekends ago to celebrate my dad's 75th birthday. Great time, a nice long weekend with everyone at a remote location. When we arrived, my wife realized she had brought the wrong swimsuit. She meant to bring a black family friendly bikini, but she instead brought her much more revealing black one that she's worn on trips with me. So she made the decision she wouldn't partake in any water activities as she didn't want anyone, including herself, to be uncomfortable being seen in it. On Saturday morning, I mentioned to the group that she wouldn't be swimming because she had brought the wrong bikini. Story. They all thought it was nonsense and silly that she would be nervous about being seen in it. They, including my mom and sister, basically insisted that she feel free to wear it if she wanted. I let my wife know about the conversation. She thought it was funny, but said no, probably not. Later on, we were playing cards, and she essentially got dared to put on the bikini if she lost. That's weird. Why are they obsessed about this? That's weird. That's so fucking weird. If I bring up that my wife didn't partake in any water activities because she felt a bit uncomfortable and didn't want anyone else to feel uncomfortable with how revealing her bikini was, leave it alone. Why are you insisting that she put it on? What type of weird ass family wants to oogle their fucking family member's wife's butt? That's weird. Y'all don't think that's weird? That's fucking weird. And then someone ended up posting a picture. Because, I mean, okay, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Long story short, she lost and then put on the bikini and came out to go swimming. Everyone got a kick out of it, giving her joking whistles and woohoos when she came out. She smiled, gave a little bow, a hip shake. It was all very cute. She got in the pool and hung out afterwards in it for a while. No big deal. Several people posted videos from the trip on Instagram and Facebook. Several of them had my wife in the swimsuit in them. Mostly she was in the background, but there were a couple pose shots with people too. No, she posed for pictures with people. She posed for pictures with people. At that point, whether they wanted to post them or not, if you didn't want to be seen in pictures in a bikini, you shouldn't have taken the pictures in a fucking bikini. Mostly she was in the background, but there were a couple of posed shots with people too. Several people commented about her in replies to the post, so I politely asked them to take it down and got some surprise responses back saying that I should be proud, etc. Am I the asshole for feeling like a revealing bikini is kind of a private thing? Bro, your wife posed for pictures with people. I feel like it's a situation as to where he wants the pictures taken down because he asked them to be taken down, not the wife. Like, I feel like once the wife realized that no one was going to be offended or uncomfortable with her bikini, she was completely over the situation. I don't think that, I mean, and possessive isn't, being possessive isn't always a bad thing, but I feel like when it comes to shit like this, you don't get to display some type of possessiveness and being upset because your wife's pictures are posted. She shouldn't have posted the pictures. That's your wife's issue. If she wants them to be taken down, she can reach out to the people, not you simply because you don't want them up. No. He posted a link to the bikini. It's on a website called doll.com. All right. Oh. Okay, so the ass was out. The ass was out. I swear, the shit looked like it's this big. The part that cover all her is this big. Her Majesty, I should say, would eat that. It's called doll.com. And it's called a ABCDEFG string bottom. Am I the asshole for divorcing my wife after she refused to help me financially in difficult times? Have a job and was just like, bitch, struggle? I, 30 male, am divorcing my wife, 30 female, of 4 years because she didn't help me financially when I needed it. I work in a very niche industry, and the last year or so has been really difficult due to market conditions. Many of my colleagues got laid off, and so was I. At the time, I had newly refurnished our home, so I was in debt. My wife also works, but she earned less than I did back then. I went to her and asked if she could help me while I searched for work. I proposed that we should sell some of the gold that was given to us at the wedding. We live in Turkey, and there's a tradition of giving gold to newlyweds to help them financially. These are meant to be used during difficult times. She rejected the idea and said, I don't want to sell my gold. I tried to reason with her by saying closing the debt would greatly help us to have more stable financials. She refused and told me to sort it out myself somehow. I asked her to at least use some of her savings and that I would pay it back. Context here is that I let her save most of her earnings while paying most of things myself due to women being vulnerable to financial changes more so than men here. I wanted her to build her own savings and made sure to help her with the retirement account as well. I asked her to give me some of her savings for the debt and I can pay her back once I sort myself out. She refused to that as well. This period has been extremely difficult for me. I fell into depression and contemplated my choices in life. Funny thing is, everything was going great before this, and I thought we would stay together through thick and thin. My older sister helped me to pay the monthly installments during this time. God bless her soul. At the beginning of this year, I found a great job in the same industry, and I'm thriving right now. I couldn't look at my wife in the same way after what happened, and I started divorce talks with a lawyer friend of mine. Last month, I let her know my decision, and she was served with papers soon after. For her, apparently, it was an unexpected thing, and she was shocked. She tried to talk me out of it, but I was firm in my decision. Families tend to be involved with each other here, and that was the case for us too. She put the families in between us as mediators, but I didn't want to be married to someone who wouldn't help me during difficult times, especially when I was considering their financial well-being. Most of my family supports my decision, though they would like me to reconsider it if possible. I know every other thing is without a problem, but I can't get over what happened. Am I the asshole here? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think he's the asshole at any way. Like, why would you want to be married to somebody that you're not willing to help, who is taking care of the two of you? What? What? like, like, I don't understand. I will never understand how you could look at your husband, the person that you have chosen to spend the rest of your life with, and tell them, I'm not going to help you. You are my partner. You're the only person in the world that I'm going to help without hesitation. My wife of 12 years, married, my wife of 7 years, we've been together for 12, is leaving me for someone she's known for 3 months. A slight preface. My wife and her brother were very close when young. He got into alcohol and went to prison for 10 years and immediately went back to drinking and then died in front of her. What the fuck that got to do with anything? My wife, 30, and I, 33, started going to the gym together. We were loving the results of the fitness. It made our physical, intimate life even better. We couldn't keep our hands off of each other. We felt as happy and as close as ever. 3 weeks after her brother died, this guy chats her up at the gym and she immediately clicks with him. I was wary, but I trusted my wife. She's a sweetheart and I never imagined her having the ability to have an affair. Last weekend, we had one of the most romantic days and evenings that we've had in a while. This week, she decides that she can't go on without finding out why she developed such a quick connection with this guy. Because it's forbidden. That's why. It's only fun because you're not supposed to be doing it. The reason you were able to have a quick connection is because you know that you're already fucking spoken for. Because you're a slore. Take your pick of the options. Take your pick. Quick connection. We own a house and 3 pets. Her family and everyone we know are devastated and they're blown away, but she's dead serious. The woman that I knew last week even, has left the building. This is a living nightmare that I just want to wake up from. We did a couples counseling 3 times, and we have one scheduled on Wednesday, but she's completely made up her mind and seems to have rapidly fallen out of love with me. My life as I had known it is over. I just needed to get this off my chest. That's so sad. That is so fucking sad. This is self-destructive behavior. It is. This is self-destructive behavior. It is. You seen your brother die in front of you, and you have trauma from that, and now you are literally destroying things that are good. You need fucking counseling, not a random guy. But my thing is, you met some guy 3 months ago, had a quick connection. What if this man just wants to bang you? And the moment you're no longer married, it's not fun, and he's not the relationship type. I wasn't looking for anything serious. I just, there is a update. There is an update. I had a kind Redditor reach out to me over the weekend asking how I was doing regarding the above situation. The original post got a lot of attention, so I figured I would give an update. My wife filed for divorce a month after moving out. During this time, I did the whole online dating thing, which was way worse than I could have ever expected. That's because the dating pool got shit in it. I'm sorry. To any of you guys that's out there dating, y'all know this. The dating pool got boo-boo in it. That's why it's terrible. Okay, I'm sorry. Moving on. I kept myself busy working out and building my own confidence, hanging out with my friends. In general, it was horrible, but I was trying to keep my head up. I was in therapy. I didn't jive with my first therapist, and I found a new one in December who I liked a lot more, and I'm still seeing her. Mid-December, my wife calls me crying. One guess on the why. Before I move on, one guess. Why do we think the wife is crying? I'm going to go first. I think her boyfriend broke up with her. And I feel like it's probably like way worse. She moved out and into his house. And he was like, why are you here? I actually didn't want a female in my space. Get out. Okay. Mid-December, my wife calls me crying, asking if she can stay in the guest bedroom because she's got nowhere to go. Okay. She asked if she could stay in the guest bedroom because she had nowhere to go. I said yes. Even though she's hurt me so badly, I do still love her. So things with the gym guy turned very toxic very fast. I know the word narcissist gets thrown around a lot these days. This guy, though. It's hard to believe the subhuman pieces of trash that actually exist. So she stays in the guest bedroom for a week and then goes to stay at her parents' for a month. She had a nervous breakdown and was able to get medical leave of absence from her work. Mid-January, she comes around and she's back at the house, but still in a very frantic and erratic state. Sort of like she's withdrawing off of hard drugs. I had no idea about the addictive nature of toxic relationships. It's a psychological clusterfuck. She's clear that she's too fucked up in the head to be in a relationship and is going to work on herself. I give her the time and space that she requested. She goes all in on learning about about the psychology of all of this shit. Inner child work, how the nervous system reacts and attracts you to toxic people if you grew up in a toxic household. Anxious and avoidant attachment styles. There's this book called How to Stay Married, where the wife had an affair and it turns out the root of the issue was her unresolved childhood trauma. I will never accept that. I won't. Because childhood trauma or not, you are a fucking adult. You made the decision to cheat on your husband. I will not accept that. I will never. Call me an asshole. It may be wrong, but I will never accept that because trauma or not, at some point, we have to hold the adult that fucked up accountable for the fuck up. Well, I've got childhood trauma and that's why I cheated on you when we got married and it was unresolved and I didn't know. So childhood trauma was the name of the dick you were bouncing on? I'm not understanding. So as an adult, I am 100% able to blame the things that I went through on my childhood trauma. I have severe abandonment issues, which is why I do not have a lot of friends. I'm not going to use that to explain away why I have made the fucked up decisions that I've made. Never. Never. I will not. This girl has a whole lot of shit that she needs to deal with, and I feel like accountability should 100% be on that list. No. Long story short, same thing happened here. It hurts, but I can forgive her. She's my best friend, and we're insanely compatible in a lot of ways. She's really been returning to herself this past month. She's the happiest I've seen her in at least a year. Last week, we filed the paperwork to dismiss the divorce. Okay, so when it happens again, are we going to accept it's my unresolved childhood trauma? How long is the excuse of unresolved childhood trauma going to be okay? How many times do we get to use that before it loses its glimmer? You know, like, that makes no fucking sense to me. I don't know. I can't. Because I need an actual fucking reason. What is this trauma? And what about this trauma made you think it was fucking okay to cheat on your husband? What type of fucking trauma makes it okay to cheat on your husband? This man was manipulated in the worst of ways, and he fell for that shit. Hook, line, and sinker. Hook, line, and sinker. He fell for that shit. Yeah, one more trip to the fucking gym. This bitch gonna start taking Pilates next, and all of a sudden the instructor is gonna be the person that can resolve my unresolved trauma. So I'm gonna leave you again because I need to understand why I wanted to be around this person so bad. That is the end of this story, and I have no more stories. I have no more voice. So yeah, I hope you guys. Oh, that was cool. That was fucking cool. I love you all. Have a great night.